How do you approach this week starting tomorrow against San Diego?
No, I think indeed it's a tough week. You have a lot of games coming on, but I think what we said as a team, what we said as a staff as well, is San Diego first, and we're not going to compromise any minute against San Diego in order to look forward to Washington. It's just the one game at a time mentality, and we go all in against San Diego, and right after San Diego we'll sit together to see what we want to do against Washington. But I'm not a huge fan of looking forward to Washington and Boston. I think it's just focusing on San Diego and getting that game out of the way first.
When you look at the depth of the team, will that be something that you'll have to utilize during this time?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think we'll use the depth of the squad. The reality is that the squad at this point isn't that deep, so it's just making sure that we make the right decisions for the players' health, and we are as competitive as we can be. And I think that's going to be the balance and the combination for the week.
First half against Kansas City was very competitive for your team. What did you like through that first 45?
It's just, I think what we control is our intent and the energy, and I think those two elements in the first half were definitely good. I think we showed great intentions, we had good energy, and then second half we go from trying to win a game into trying to defend the lead, and that never really works for us. So I think whenever we get out of the locker room we have to go out and try to win a game, whether it's first half, whether it's second half, and I think that needs to be the mentality.
First opportunity for the supporters to see Kiana Palacios. How would you describe her game and what she can offer the Royals?
Yeah, I think Kiana is just smart and very calm. I think first 2 weeks in, she's not a big talker. She doesn't need all the attention, but she loves to just pop up in front of the goal and finish. It's been a full week of practice for her. It's been the first one without any modifications, without any limitations, and you see she can finish a goal, whether it's in the 11s, whether it's in the shooting drills. She knows where the goal is and she knows how to score a goal. So I think that was a major part that we were missing. So we're really looking forward to showing her to our fans.
Do you do something special when players are coming from different leagues to the NWSL, which everybody knows is physical, transitional? How do you mark that adjustment?
Yeah, I think Kiana was limited to 60 minutes last week just to make sure she gets into the new league, but I think the reality is as well that we have to look at their history, and Kiana has been a high output player for her previous club, for the national team as well, which helps her here. The elevation where she's coming from was higher than here as well, so I think those are all the elements you take into account. We have Diana getting on the pitch that comes from France, where there is basically no elevation. She didn't play for 2 months, so that's a different pathway than it is for a Kiana, so it's a case by case, but it's definitely something we look into. We want to make sure that we set them up for success.
Lara Prashnikar got a full preseason with the team, was able to get those games towards the end of the season. What kind of year can she have in 2026?
Yeah, I think she's definitely one of the players that can make a difference for us, and it's just finding the right role, finding the right fit for her. I think she's at her best when she can come while getting to play and really combine with players. I think that's what we've seen last week as well. It was the first time we were finding Chloe Lacasse that often in behind, and they were all coming from passes from Lara. So I think Lara is definitely a player that likes to come into the shape and then feed beyond and through the shape of the opponent. So that's definitely a role that we want to give her this season.
Tatum Milazzo got her first opportunity to put on the Royal shirt and had that goal, but appreciating the road that came to it, recovering from that injury. As you see her get more and more games under her belt, what can she provide?
Yeah, I think she didn't even know she was starting the game until 24 hours before the game. So I think that also speaks to what kind of person she is. She stepped on that pitch ready, mentally just being very resilient and ready for that game. And I think Tatum has been with us for a year, so it's not that she's new to the environment. She knows what we want to do. She knows what it takes to be in this league as well, just from previous experiences. So I think it's a great fit, and I think what I'm expecting with her is just to take up a sort of a leadership role. She's definitely a person that knows how to bring a good atmosphere to the team, that keeps everyone at their high, who helps everyone, and it's transferring that into a role for her consistently throughout the year.
How can her NWSL experience with Kate Del Fava, other players, help the group that has some young faces on it?
Yeah, no, I definitely think one of the elements is was a fun fact, but she's one of the biggest aerial threats as well in this league. So I think we've seen that, we've noticed that last week for the first time. So it's finding her in those moments. But then next to that, it's also, like I said, she knows what it takes in this league. We're facing a 3-game week. It's players like Kate Del Fava, Kaylee Reel, Tatum Milazzo, where you expect them to teach the younger ones what to do at what time, just to make sure they're ready for the next game. And I think that's how we're relying on those more experienced players in this squad.
San Diego is a team that loves to have the ball. They led last season in possession and had a really impressive first week when it came to keeping the ball. What is it about that you look at in approaching this game?
Yeah, they can have the ball as long as we can define where they have the ball. I think that's going to be the game for us as well. It's they had 750 passes, but I think 45 to 50% was between two centre backs. So I think it's all relevant. Like, you all have to put it into context. So I'm happy for the centre backs to have the ball. I think we just need to define where the ball can get to and where it doesn't get to. I think we're ready to take up Kenza Dali, who in my opinion is probably the best midfielder in this whole league, if not amongst the top 5 in the world. So it's making sure that we get the ball away from her, and as long as we do our job well, we know how we can score goals against them, and we know how they want to score goals. So it's just balancing those two elements. But I'm not really afraid of those high possession teams as long as we can define where they get the ball.
First opportunity to play in front of the supporters. What are you looking forward to being back at America First Field?
Yeah, I think the whole preseason has been about culture, about DNA, philosophy, showing who we want to be. I think that's what we want to do towards the fans. I think the fans, whether the result is positive, negative, I want them to see who we are, and I want them to see how we want to approach the season. We want to be competitive, just like we were for 45 minutes against Kansas City. We want to do the same for 90 minutes now against San Diego, and I think we just want to show the identity of this team, and we hope that they can find pieces in this identity that link with them, so they keep on coming back to see us play.